call the regularly scheduled village board meeting to order. Let the record reflected at 7:31 on Tuesday, August 21st, 2018. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a very heavy agenda this evening, so let's get right to work. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Here.
Trustee Panito.
Here.
Trustee Berg.
Here.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Glotz.
Present.
Trustee Curran.
Here.
President Vandenberg.
Here. Thank you. Item number 1, it asks for a motion to consider approval of the agenda. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2, at this time I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the special village board meeting held on July 17, 2018, and the regular village board meeting held on July 17, 2018. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3, Trustee Berg.
Consider proclaiming September as 2018 as Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month in the village of Tinley Park.
Is there a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Whereas ovarian cancer is the deadliest of all gynecologic cancers, and whereas ovarian cancer is the 5th leading cause of cancer deaths among women in the United States, and whereas approximately 22,000 women will be diagnosed with ovarian cancer this year, and 15,000 will die from the disease. And whereas these deaths are those of our mothers, sisters, daughters, family members, and community leaders, and whereas the mortality rate for ovarian cancer has not significantly decreased since the war on cancer was declared more than 40 years ago. And whereas in June 2007, the first national consensus statement on ovarian cancer symptoms was developed to provide consistency in describing symptoms to make it easier for women to learn and remember the symptoms. And whereas awareness of the symptoms of ovarian cancer by women and healthcare providers can lead to a quicker diagnosis. And whereas each year during the month of September, the Ovarian Cancer National Alliance and its partner members hold a number of events to increase public awareness of ovarian cancer. And whereas September 2018 should be designated as National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month to increase the public regarding the cancer. And now, therefore, I, Jacob Vandenberg, Cindy Berg, on behalf of the Village Board and over 59,000 citizens herein represented, hereby proclaim September 2018 as Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month in the Village of Tinley Park on this day, August 21st, 2018.
Trustee Berg, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Item 4, at this time I'd ask for a motion to consider proclaiming September 10 through September 15, 2018 as Buddy Poppy Week in the Village of Tinley Park. Is there such a motion?
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Panito.
Second.
Second. Seconded by Trustee Berg. We have another proclamation this evening, whereas the annual distribution of Buddy Poppies by the veterans of foreign wars of the United States has been officially recognized and endorsed by governmental leaders since 1922, and whereas the VFW Buddy Poppies are assembled by disabled veterans and the proceeds of this worthy fundraising campaign are used exclusively for the benefit of disabled and needy veterans and the widows and orphans of deceased veterans. And whereas the basic purpose of the annual distribution of Buddy Poppies by the veterans of foreign wars is eloquently reflected in the desire to honor the dead by helping the living. And whereas I do hereby urge the citizens of the community to recognize the merits of this cause by contributing generously to the support through your donation for Buddy Poppies on the say set aside for the distribution of these symbols of appreciation for the sacrifices of our honored dead. And whereas I urge all patriotic citizens to wear a Buddy Poppy as a mute evidence of our gratitude to the men and women of this country who have risked their lives in defense of freedoms which we continue to enjoy as Americans. Now, therefore, I, Jacob Vandenberg, on behalf of the Village Board and the 59,000 citizens herein represented, have hereby proclaimed September 10 through September 15, 2018 as Buddy Poppy Week in the Village of Tinley Park. Witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and affixed this great seal of the Village of Tinley Park at my office on the 21st day of August in the year of our Lord 2018. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you. Is there a representative from the VFW here?
Have them all stand.
Gentlemen, do you want to come forward and receive the proclamation? Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It's not my fault.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Let's offer our veterans a nice round of applause.
Item number 5, another proclamation this evening. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to consider proclaiming September 16th, 2018 as the American Legion Day in the Village of Tinley Park. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Whereas the American Legion was chartered by Congress in 1919 on September 16 as a wartime veterans organization based on the 4 pillars of Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation, National Security, Americanism, and Child and Youth. And whereas over the years the American Legion has become a preeminent community service organization which now numbers more than 2.5 million members, men and women, in over 14,000 American Legion posts worldwide, working on a variety of programs that support the 4 pillars and benefit our nation's veterans, its service members, their families, and the youth of America and its citizens. And whereas the members of the American Legion are dedicated to upholding the ideals of freedom and democracy while working to make a difference in the lives of a fellow American. And whereas the 2018 observance of American Legion Day provides an opportunity to recognize Legionnaires in our community for their many contributions to our community. Now therefore, I, Jacob Vandenberg, on behalf of the Village Board and over 59,000 citizens herein represented, hereby proclaim September 16, 2018 as the American Legion Day in the Village of Tinley Park. Any representatives of the American Legion? Great. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you.
Go to your office.
Thank you to both organizations for your continued service to the community and for certainly honoring all the veterans and soldiers that are currently in conflict. Item number 6, at this time, Clerk Durian.
I'd like to propose a motion to consider proclaiming September 17th through September 23rd, 2018 as Constitution Week in the Village of Tinley Park.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Whereas it is the privilege and duty of the American people to commemorate September 17th, 2018 as the 231st anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America with appropriate ceremonies and activities. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Jacob Vandenberg, on behalf of the Village Board and over 59,000 citizens herein represented, hereby proclaim September 17th through September 23rd, 2018 as Constitution Week in the Village of Tinley Park.
Thank you, Clerk Durian. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion will carry. Thank you. Item number 7, at this time I'd ask for a motion to consider the appointment of Matthew F. Walsh to the position of Police Chief.
So moved.
Properly moved and seconded. This is for me to read, right? The village embarked on a national recruitment effort to identify viable candidates for the vacant position of police chief following the retirement of Steve Neubauer. The village received 26 applications from many excellent candidates who possessed diverse professional experience. Following a discernment process that included a thorough review of the applicant presentation materials and discussion among the interview panel, a total of 7 applicants were invited to participate in the first round of interviews. Following these meetings, 5 applicants participated in the second phase that included a rigorous full-day assessment center consisting of verbal presentation exercise, in-basket exercise, and an open interview with the assessment panel. This panel recommended 4 candidates to meet the village board. Following this extensive process, Matthew Walsh was recommended as the best candidate for this position. Mr. Walsh has 25 years of experience spanning across the public sector of law enforcement, including 20 years in supervisory and command capacity. Most recently, Mr. Walsh served as Police Lieutenant Watch Commander within the Cook County Sheriff's Police Department, focusing on community policing. Mr. Walsh earned educational degrees, including an MBA and a Bachelor in Science in Business Administration. He is a graduate of the Northwestern School of Police Staff and Command and a graduate of the FBI National Academy at Quantico. If approved this evening, this appointment will be effective August 22nd, 2018, with a start date of August 27th, 2018. Roll call. Call the roll on this, please.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glutz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
That motion will carry, and that is our new Chief of Police, Mr. Matthew Walsh. If you'd like to stand and be recognized. Swearing in right now, or how does that, is there an official swearing in? Do you have anything for the veteran? Anybody drop the ball on that, or?
I have nothing for the.
I'm going to defer to the staff on this. Is there a swearing in ceremony for the chief of police? And if so, it should be included in the record here.
We can do a separate swearing-in ceremony.
Okay, well, we'll do an unofficial one right here because all your friends and family are here, Mr. Walsh. So why don't you come forward? First, if you'd like to, greet the public for the first time, and then be prepared.
Hello, everyone. I can't wait to get started. It's been a long process. I'm excited to be the Chief of Police of the Village of Tinley Park. It's got to be one of the top 10 policing judges in the state of Illinois. I was honored to be selected by all to serve as the chief. I can't wait to work with the mayor, the village board, the residents, and all visitors to continue to improve the quality of life. Because Tinley Park, as you know, has so much going on and so many things that are happening. It's just going to be a very challenging time and a very exciting time. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
I'm going to be smiling because now I get some relief.
Okay.
Chief, I have a bunch of family and friends here. I mean, you're welcome to stay for the remaining part of the meeting. Or if you'd like, there's some refreshments.
Get a cupcake on your way out. Cookie.
Can I do it now?
Yeah, let's wait till they cook. Sigh of relief from our interim.
Hey, you're still on until the 28th.
if the board would oblige, I just was notified that the recipient from our proclamation for Constitution Week is present in the audience, and I'd like the clerk to present that proclamation to him or her.
Yes, I'd like to invite Ms. Gail Schaefer of the Daughters of the American Revolution to please come forward. Little bird.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you very much. Item 8, at this time I'd ask for a motion to consider the appointment of Anthony Campbell and Stanley Tenza to the position of police commander. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Busy night for me, sorry. The village conducted an internal search to identify viable candidates for 2 positions of commander. The village received 8 internal applicants. Following an interview process with staff, 2 candidates were invited to meet with the village board. Following this process, Anthony Campbell and Stanley Tenza were recommended as the best candidates for these positions. Mr. Campbell has worked with the village of Tinley Park for over 24 years in the majority of the specialized areas of the department, including the South Suburban Emergency Response Team, Master Firearms Instructor, Crime Scene Technology, Accident Reconstruction, Motorcycle Unit, and Field Training Officer. Mr. Campbell has served as an investigation sergeant for 7 years, patrol sergeant for 4 years, and patrol officer for 17 years. He earned a Bachelor of Science cum laude in Justice Studies. He is the recipient of numerous departmental accommodations, as well as the South Suburban Associations of Chiefs of Police Peace Officer Life-Saving Award. Say that a couple times. Prior to joining the village, Mr. Campbell served as a military police officer, corporal, and platoon squad leader with the United States Army. Detective Stanley Tenza has 27 years of experience in law enforcement, including Orland Park and Justice Police Departments, with the majority of his career with the Tinley Park Police Department. He earned an Associate's in Criminal Justice and is working towards a bachelor's degree in Public Administration and Criminal Justice. Mr. Tenza served special assignments, including tactical officer, investigator, and supervisor with the Illinois State Police South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force, inspector in the Commercial Motor Vehicle Safety and Interdiction, and Tinley Park Police Department Honor Guard. He is a recipient of numerous awards and commendations, including Peace Officer of the Year, Unit Citation, Water Rescue, Medal of Valor, and Life Saving Award. We do have Commander Campbell with us this evening. It's been brought to my attention that Commander Tenza is out of town on a family vacation, so we will honor him at the next board meeting, but we would like to invite you up, Commander. Oh, we haven't called the roll yet. Not used to reading all these items. Pardon me. So, not Commander yet. Sorry, Sergeant. Sit down.
Make it official.
Can we call the roll, please?
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
So the motion carries. You're now a commander. Step forward.
There you go.
Not to put you on the limelight, but you're welcome to introduce your wife, who's in the audience, and you want to tell the public a little bit about yourself. And I mean, I spoke about your career already, but this would be a good opportunity.
Sure. I just look forward to continue serving the village, the citizens, and the police department in the new capacity. I look forward to the challenges it may bring. My wife, Diana, is here, who also happens to be a police officer from Palos Park, so we're
Oh, bring her up. Bring her up.
supposed
Come on
to
up.
do.
Come
Want to do a full picture? Very good. Thank you very much. as I was reading that item, it said that that applicants were recommended by staff, and I think it's important to note that our interim police chief, Charles Ferticelli, was absolutely integral in the process of the last couple of items. And I don't want to go another moment in this board meeting without saying thank you for taking on the role, first of all, and second of all, doing it with such professionalism and truly dedication. You care very much so for the department, and it shows through your work. He highly suggested both of those gentlemen for the promotion, and I asked you to continue to do the great job that you're doing in assisting our new chief of police, and we greatly appreciate everything you do, Charles. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles.
Item 9, receive comments from staff. Any comments from the staff this evening?
Evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to a quick thank you to all of our firefighters and paramedics on duty last Tuesday night, approximately 6 p.m. under the command of Assistant Chief Chris Dunn. The fire department, Kurt CMS, Orland Park Fire and Oak Forest responded to a report of a house fire in the 6200 block of 167th Street. Crews got on the scene, found a well-involved kitchen fire. Made a quick job of extinguishing the fire, but most importantly, they were able to rescue 4 dogs from the fire who successfully have recovered. It was just a great job by all of our crews and all the responders to the incident there. So again, my thanks to all of our crews and members for a great job out there last Tuesday night.
Thank you, Chief.
You guys did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else from the staff? No?
I just wanted to say thank you to the board and to you, Mayor, for your confidence that you placed in me. And like I said, it was an experience. It was something I wouldn't replace. It definitely made me grow as an officer, so I appreciate everything you did. And I want to especially thank staff, especially the village manager and Pat Carr, the assistant village manager. Wouldn't have been able to go through what I went through without their help throughout this. So, and that goes for all the staff. They were really good helping me out in a situation where the police department was really behind the 8 ball with so many retirements so quickly. And the people that we've hired, I just want everyone to know they're top notch. This is a definite leap forward for this police department, and I look forward to working with them all.
Great. Thank you, Charles. Nothing else from the staff. We move on to item 10,
Yes,
receive comments from the public.
Just a few.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Apologies, Paul.
Yeah, we have some exciting things happening in the Community Development Department. The Boulevard South Street Station, we had our workshop last week, and I do want to let the public know our public hearing will be on the 6th of September. That is a 4-story building in the downtown area, 165 units with 30,000 square feet retail. There will be an incentive discussion on the 11th of September. Following shortly after that, we have the Bremen Station project, a smaller project, 39 units, 5,000 square feet of retail, and that's going to be on the 20th of September, tentatively scheduled at this time. And then we're also working with North Street development. We have a potential development, hasn't formally applied yet, but looking at about 130 units in that development with 10,000 square feet retail. So a lot of activity in the downtown right now. We're also working to refine the plaza design with Lakota. That's moving along very well. We've been meeting closely with not only the designers but the engineers to get that done. And for the residence project out in Brookside Glen on 191st, they have filed for their building permit for a foundation only. And then we do have a spotlight business this evening and part of our program. Mr. Mike Litzwitz, did I pronounce that correctly? Liskevich. Oh dear, so sorry. He is part of, he's a marketing president for C&B. They just opened up their new office at the northwest corner of 94th and 179th.
Thank you. Thank you, Paula. Good evening. Again, my name is Mike Liskevich. I'm the market president for C&B Bank in Tinley Park. We just opened last April. We look forward to serving the residents and businesses of community of Tinley Park for the many years to come. I want to thank the staff for helping us with a seamless transition to moving in with the change of use permit, the variance for the digital sign, which turned out great, by the way, and it's really helping our business, and for coming out to our ribbon cutting on June 26th. So I know a lot of the board members were able to come, so thank you for that. We look forward to working with you guys for the years to come. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Anything else, Paula?
No, that's it.
Okay, great. Anything else from the staff? No? All right, great. Moving on, item 10, receive comments from the public.
Jake, can I have the floor a second? According to our village ordinance 30.26, I move we suspend the rules for public comment policy ordinance 43.01, letter C, the total time allotted for public comment, which is 45 minutes. Furthermore, I would like to extend the residents' right to speak tonight after items number 26 and 7, if they choose to do so. Our town has gone through many trials and tribulations over the last 2.5 years for, spending between $5.5 and $6 million. It's cost us taxpayers. Our town and residents deserve closure on this. Thank you.
So there's a motion.
Jake, but only pertaining to those items.
So we're there's two items in there, right?
Correct.
Well, extension of public comment?
Yes,
time,
and only those,
and then allowing for comments for items 26,
only related
27?
to those items. It's not just an open end.
So the way, if I can step in there, so both your public comment rule and I think the village ordinance allows for that. So you have a motion on the table. It would require a second and a regular vote to pass. So I believe, Mayor, you summarized it correctly. Two ideas: extend time past 45 minutes and allow comment after 26 and 27.
Pertaining only to
Pertaining
those
to those
two
items.
items. Those two items only. It's been two
So
and a
let's-
half
so
years.
we have, so that's the motion on the floor. I think you need a second first.
I'll second it. I just ask that everybody not repeat the same thing. It's going to be a long night.
So you have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Right, so we're extending and then we're going back? Extending
it's an
45 minutes?
extension.
Kind of the point of order, kind of like 45 minutes for what?
Public
comment
comment.
right now.
This section, per to our public comment policy, the total maximum time is 45 minutes unless extended by the board. So that, and each person has 4 minutes to speak. So you'd be taking, I guess it would be allowing more folks to speak. I think that would be the intent of the extension of 45
Kristen,
minutes.
if you pass it down the...
Right, so if we
I
got,
don't see-
if we started public comment tonight, we got to 45 minutes, technically, that would be the end of
You need
public
to see it.
comment. So
Fine.
you
I don't see
can.
why we just, the extension could be made upon the 46th minute. If
If
there's
they've been
10
reached,
people standing in line, we could certainly extend at that point. I don't see there being any problem. I don't think there's any reason why the board would tell people not to speak. I mean, I have no problem with that. I don't think there's a need to extend that. So, is there any other discussion amongst the board before I take a vote on the motion and with seconded? It's probably moved and seconded, so we have to take a vote on it at least. Is there any other discussion?
Roll call.
Yeah, we'll call it roll.
Call roll.
Trustee Yonker.
No.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, so there's an extension for 40, I guess, however long, we can set a cap on that, so hypothetically, we could be here all night, and then there'll be a discussion or public comment that could be had after items 26 and 27. Very good. On that note, floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening. Mayor Vandenberg, concerning the July 29th press conference, I've watched this video several times. Well, I think it's great to hear our mayor preach about love and respect. Something just seems odd about this whole thing. I guess my question is, were you up there speaking on behalf of yourself? Were you up there as the mayor of our town, representing all of us, representing the village board and the administration? I have to assume you were there on behalf of the village. You did introduce yourself as the mayor, so I guess you were up there speaking about an issue that has been discussed in Village Hall and amongst your fellow board members. Is that correct, Mayor? And yet, I didn't see any other board members or staff standing up there with you. So I have to question, was this something you did just on your own? Or is it something that the board worked on and you were acting as a spokesperson for it? Again, I am so glad to see the mayor talking peace and harmony, and apparently talking about some program the village is sponsoring called Love is Harmony, but we haven't heard anything about more about this program. Will you be talking about the program this evening, Mayor? Mayor? The mayor called a press conference 3 weeks ago, but I haven't heard anything more about this. Maybe the mayor is working on this behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, I guess. That's my point. Everything your concerned citizen group does is behind the scenes. Again, I watched the video several times. I see the mayor, and then he pulls in the chief from the sidelines, but where's everyone else? You speak about being inclusive in your speech. That's what's troubling me, because I have to say this appears to be just the Jake show. My question, another question, were you inclusive with your board, your staff? Again, the subject is right. We do need to stand up to racial bias, but the position should be coming from the village as some sort of a mission statement or policy, not what here appears to be residents to hear a campaign speech. And really, that's not my problem either. The mayor has every right to campaign for office. My concern is that we should have some kind of process or policy on how our elected officials speak on our behalf. Yes, we elected Jake Vandenberg to be our mayor. We also selected 6 other trustees and a clerk. Inclusive means including all of our elected officials. Mayor, was the board and staff aware of the press conference and new program before you announced it? It is my understanding that you only notified some of the trustees. Did you contact staff? Again, isn't there some kind of policy for this? How do we handle press releases? Can anyone on the board just call a press release whenever they want and speak on behalf of the village? Sure, we have a free speech and they can say what they believe from a personal perspective, but isn't there some process when they are speaking on the village's behalf as the resident spokesperson? I am proud to live in Tinley Park, and I do believe in what the mayor was speaking about, but I wonder if it was the best idea to hold a press conference on the issue of these ugly flyers that a lot of people didn't even know about until you started talking about it. We can't control that kind of hatred, but we shouldn't be advertising that it happened either. If the mayor truly wanted to promote love and harmony, why not just work with the board and staff and create a village mission statement that represents our core beliefs, and then adopt that through the appropriate village channels in an inclusive manner, not the behind the scenes, which seem to be your MO. Thank you.
Just about a year ago, I came here to this board, and I gave you the details of the home invasion of 11 families we're involved with, including my son. I asked you then what was going to change, what's going to happen, what are we going to do about this? My initial reaction, what I was originally told, was that we weren't going to go looking for phones. And I, at the time, could not understand, did they really think it was about the phones? The thought of 11 young men, very intelligent, very educated, athletic abilities that will take them into scholarships now, were in that basement. My friend, I will never forget her telling me, I tried to cover as many as I could, but I could feel them shaking. That is what brings me to this board. If you think I want to come here, after the election, that was a bunch of lies. After that election, I wanted nothing to do with this. I wanted to go back to my life. I've done my time. I've helped your families. I've stepped up in scouting. I've done my time at church. I've done it all. I thought I was putting people up here to do the right things. Every one of you. Brian, I'm appalled that you wouldn't even give us extra time to speak. I don't even know. Don't look at us in April. Don't. Cindy, you can't even give a realistic reason why you want to change this insurance. You just want to spend more money. There is no stockholders here, okay? No bottom line. I see it. We all see it in government. We all read it in the papers. I am tired of it in my village, okay? Our village is not racist. I have been involved in every organization, Bobcats, Bulldogs, every church, every school my kids have been. I'm one of the people that raise their hand. And some of us are those people. It's the same people, and we all know it, who do it all. We are good people. And I don't know what was done the conversations that caused this, but I certainly hope nothing is hidden from us, the voters. We are going to demand to know who did what. Who advised us to go into a lawsuit that we were demanding, insisting it was one person, and then you turn around to settle. We're making lawyers rich. Taxpayers' money all to the law firms. This is appalling. I'm disappointed in all of this, and I'm wondering, when are we going to get the 13 policemen that you did the study for and told us that we were short? And I'm pretty sure now retirements are up to 17. Is it 17? I'm going to ask the staff to respond to me with a response to a question. I want to know who advised our village to go into this lawsuit. Because I certainly hope they will no longer be doing business here. Because somebody told us to I think the day you were put into office, we've served somebody. I'm not even sure what it all is, but I hope all of it comes out because I want to know. Insurance, just, it's not Mercedes-Benz or it's nothing in this village. I watched the money being spent on top of the line. I get it, you want to update all this stuff. The amount of money you're spending, most companies have to work that way, not from here to the top, just waste the money. 17 policemen need to be on our streets, and you need to find the money. And I promise you I will be here at every meeting. John Curran lives down the block from me. He didn't even know my son was in the home invasion. He didn't even know it. Does everybody in this town know all the home invasions that have gone on? You need to fix the police. How do we go on and do everything? Brian, is it okay if I continue?
No, that wasn't the motion. It was the extension of the entire.
Is it okay if I continue speaking?
How much longer do you have, Ms. Fuente?
Maybe a minute.
I mean, that's yours. Go ahead.
Is that okay? A minute? I can speak? Thank you, because I know in April, when all of you or whoever is going to be running, I will be speaking as loud as I can about all this stuff. 17 police on the streets, and I can't understand why you're not putting safety first. You want to spend money on insurance that we don't even need to change. Nobody asked you to change it. Nobody asked you to look into it. But for some reason, board members are getting on these offices, doubling all their extra payments, increasing their ending salaries, all this nonsense that's costing us money. Did you want me to explain, Cindy, why I said that? Why I think that we're inflating things for people? I just saw the look you gave me when I said that.
I'm just
Okay, I
confused.
just want to make sure,
Sorry.
because I want to make sure you guys understand what I'm saying. Wasteful spending needs to stop. These are your neighbors. These are the people you should be making your decisions for, nobody else. And I certainly hope things I've read today on this Facebook is not true.
Well, on the bright side, we're seeing the executive session items go down, being reduced. That's a good step in the right direction. It looks like, though, there's still room for improvement. Near as I can tell, it looks like you're getting ready to discuss the purchase of the TP MHC property, which would incur at least $12 million in remediation costs for the taxpayers. That's something that should be discussed publicly, should not be discussed in executive session. And while we're talking about insurance here too, it's really important to keep in mind that just because we have insurance policies, that doesn't give us licenses to do foolish things. I mean, our lawsuit against Amy Connelly looks really silly now, considering that we're getting ready to settle for $360,000. In fact, I mean, it looks like our lawsuit was all just designed to try to deflect blame from certain people who don't want to admit blame. And I want to say here too, getting back to the executive session stuff, okay, open and transparent government. The citizens of this village insist on open and transparent government. So when you're talking about incurring major remediation costs here in executive session, that's unacceptable. So we're not going to make any admittances of the lawsuit that we did any wrong, but hopefully, at least privately, some of us are at least acknowledging that we made some major mistakes. Hopefully there's some realization of lessons learned. This is something that needs to be discussed. in public. I'm amazed. I'm amazed that we went from the staff to the public, and nobody wanted to speak up about this, the lawsuit settlement or anything, or the lessons that were learned. We want to know that you know what lessons should have been learned. Otherwise, I mean, some of us are going to assume that you didn't learn lessons and you're just going to repeat it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bernie Greenewalt. I've been a resident of Tinley Park for over 40 years, since 1977. I'm here to discuss agenda item number 24, which concerns a possible change in liability insurance carriers. By your very title, trustee, you have a fiduciary responsibility to cost-effectively purchase the best goods and services for the benefit of our residents. With liability insurance, this means transferring as much risk as possible to the insurance carrier at the lowest possible cost. This transfer of risk is a cornerstone principle of risk management. I assume each of you follows this principle when you're purchasing liability insurance for your own homes and your businesses. Village staff performed due diligence in its review of 2 proposals received and recommended that IRMA, our insurance carrier for 20 years, be retained. Last week at the Committee of the Whole meeting, you voted 4-2 to reject staff's recommendations. I believe this was an uninformed and irresponsible vote for several reasons. Because of time limitations, I'll focus on just one aspect of your decision: workers' compensation. The annual premiums proposed by both finalists are essentially the same. However, IRMA's workers' comp deductible is $50,000 per claim, while Allegiance deductible is $300,000. Take a moment to let that sink in. That's a 600% increase in workers' comp deductible per claim. 600%. No experienced risk manager would ever consider absorbing such a risk. Let's look next to the composition of our village employees as listed on the village website. It's evident that a significant majority of our employees are police officers, firefighters, and public works employees. Numerous studies have placed each of these occupations in the category of most dangerous jobs in the United States. This means that a high percentage of our employees are at high risk of suffering serious job-related injuries. I assume each of you is aware of the high cost of medical care, but are you aware of all of the costs that must be paid through workers' comp? These costs include all hospital care, doctor's fees, drugs, payment of wages to the employee for lost time due to injury, and the ongoing costs for follow-up care such as physical therapy and rehabilitation. It's easy to see how the cost of a single workers' comp claim can easily exceed $50,000. Your vote last week would put the village on the hook for an additional $250,000 for every claim that exceeds this threshold. In fact, our village manager stated last week that the village's budget will have to be increased by several $100,000 to allow for the possibility of such claims. I heard no trustee last week express sound reasoning for not retaining IRMA. 2 comments were made about Tinley Park being the biggest fish in the IRMA insurance pool. In this case, being the biggest fish also makes us the most likely fish to submit claims that may have to be partly absorbed by the smaller fish in the pond. In the IRMA insurance pool, I'd rather be the whale than the minnow. In closing, I urge you to uphold your fiduciary responsibility to the residents of Tinley Park and vote to retain IRMA, which is by far the most logical fiscal choice for the residents. If you vote not to retain IRMA, I believe you owe an explanation of your rationale prior to your vote. Thank you.
just want to piggyback on the insurance contracts. I want to revisit it with every one of the 4 trustees that voted against it. The additional spending just in deductibles is an average on, over the last 4 years, the staff did an excellent job of putting together the packet. $278,956 just in deductible additional spending that this village is going to have to incur. Plus the average of $130,000 we're not going to be receiving in the interest earnings that we won't get back from IRMA if we do decide to switch to ICRMT. It's about $408,000 a year. $408,000 over a year is $1.6 million. This is quick, easy math. This isn't a hard decision. We're not comparing apples to apples. We're not even comparing apples to oranges. We're comparing apples to kumquats here. This is really the most fiscally responsible choice is to stay with IRMA, and this doesn't even make any sense why they haven't even been considered. So I ask all the board members who voted against it to rethink their decisions tonight.
I'm gonna lighten it up, folks. Kindness rocks, remember? Miss Crampy reminded me that I didn't give you any at the table, so please, here's your rock. There you go, dear. We're going strong, we need some help, guys. Please, Public Works. One guy said he's throwing them out. Really? I've painted over 1,000 rocks. I almost cried. Don't throw them out. Can you guys spread the word? I would like, once again, we just want an area near the train station, a couple of parks, little 3x3, but just a small area designated for the rocks. I even have a sign we can put. All I need you to say is, yeah, Adrian, go do it. I'm not asking for money. I'm paying for everything. Me. I'm not asking for money. I just want a spot. It's not going to cost you anything. Just a little area. Can you think about it? Bring some kindness. Jake, dude, when you had the press meeting, why didn't you call me? I had this sign. I could have brought it. We could have showed everybody we're kind in Tinley. Really think about it. I stayed home and cried. I was really... My kindness rocks weren't even included. Come on, people, please. Okay, lighten it up. Think about it. I just want an area where I'm not going to get in trouble to put this sign and a bunch of rocks. Cindy, sorry, you don't know how many people wanted to bring a yoga mat tonight. I mean, really, the rec center has yoga. We don't need the new insurance. Thank you.
Do you have any suggested areas, Adrian? Do you have any suggested areas you're talking about?
Yeah, I want
Can you
it
send
right
them
by the
over?
train.
Send them over to the staff.
I want it right by the train.
I have one thing. Send it over to David.
Come on,
I'll take 2.
Come on, Dave. 1-800. You guys got it?
The other point would be to talk to the Park District as well.
I'm talking Park District.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So but they want to hear from, they want you guys to say yes.
Not a problem.
This is our rocks, Pete, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. What's your name?
Don't throw it. Adrian.
All right. The number? Yes.
701. Work with
You want to help here?
The house. It looks like a camper.
Is there
Thanks.
somebody else to speak?
Good evening.
Hello.
My name is Leslie Basic. I've been a member of Tinley Park for 43 years. I came to all the meetings when we were going through all our hassles. I put my faith in you guys, hoping that things are going to change. I'm very disappointed in what you chose to decide on this insurance and what's going on with Amy Connelly. I've had it. I've had it. You haven't heard the last of me. I plan on being here for the rest of the meetings, too. Thank you.
One thing that I noticed that what everybody keeps on talking about tonight is, what's going on, why haven't things changed? And I think, to me, it looks like from an outsider looking in, it's campaign finance. Every last trustee up here has taken some money from somebody for a campaign donation. And unfortunately, we're seeing where all that money's going. It ain't going towards getting what we need to get done in this town to get it better. I wrote down a couple things tonight. You look at infrastructure, we got some infrastructure going on, but there's more needed. There's still people, I remember a few months back there was guys talking about, their houses are flooding, you can't get in, the house has been flooding for like 20 years. That's a disgrace. How it doesn't take long to repair a sewer. You look at the Freedom Pond over off 175. Somebody had mentioned that, I seen it, and I thought it was actually, what they said was right. What a waste of money. Then you got the Tinley Park Mental Institution, all the land there. Everybody wants to talk about buying it from the state. I don't know what the right answer is right now with that property. I know it does have to be built. I think it would be nice to get something in here to generate a lot of revenue. At the end of the day, whenever you guys do make a decision, because I haven't heard it talk about it in a little bit, I would recommend buying it piece by piece and fixing it and taking all that nasty stuff that's in the ground out. And it's going to cost a lot, but I can tell you one thing, you go and buy it at a lump sum, you are going to be spending way too much. Then, the one issue that I talked about for 2 years, I got a lot of slack for. I got a lot of slack for in my job, I got a lot of slack for it publicly here, on Facebook, what a joke. By people who live in this town who actually think, for some reason I got like some alternative agenda. You know what the only agenda I had was when I first talked about it, and that was Jake back when you were a trustee, was campaign finance. That's really all I was talking about. I wanted better for everybody. I wanted the paramedics, people that I worked alongside, to get paid properly. That's all I wanted. I didn't sit there and want no alternative agenda to sit there and think like, or I was, like what I was called by some trustees, a disgruntled employee. Here I am, a guy who was born and raised in this town, and I'm getting called a disgruntled employee from a trustee. Funny, he ain't a trustee no more. 2, I get shots all over from certain people who work in public safety in this town. I didn't know when you go and supposed to take care of people, I didn't know that gives you automatically ability to sit there and attack them, because I got a difference of opinion. Something that I don't see this town doing nothing of. I've seen plenty of residents get hammered on. What's being done? How come nobody gets a good slap on the wrist? In other towns, they'd walk you out the door immediately. Police pensions, they're funded around 70% right now. In other towns, they're funded a heck of a lot more, a lot higher than 70%. Just like Diane's been, and other people, Nancy, have been talking about the police issue. It is a big issue over in my area. There's not really any police presence really over there. And I know why. It's because we need more of them. So at the end of the day, I sit back and I say, since there's so much campaign funding going on between all the trustees, what's the only other solution? Come 2019, I'm running for trustee. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. It's because I don't see anybody on this board right now. All right. Well, I don't see anybody on this board right now that can do anything about it.
Political purpose.
Well,
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Just to piggyback off of what Mike started off with, the press conference from a few weeks ago, I've seen enough meetings to know it's not question and answer time. Are any of the trustees comfortable sharing if they knew of the conference prior to it? Does anybody want to give me a clerk?
I did not.
You did not know. Is anybody else totally free? Are you comfortable sharing if you knew?
I was not in the email from the mayor.
Okay, so at least 2 people did not know. To me, Mayor, it seems very immature and shows a little bit of a lack of character to exclude 2 of your teammates in something so public. And I've hesitated speaking out before at meetings. One thing, Clerk Therian, that I wish I spoke about back in November, you were excluded, I believe, from a Veterans Day ceremony at the village. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you're the only current board member that served in the military. And it bothered me, and because of my character, I'm bringing it up, and I wish I had spoken on it sooner. And that's why I'm trying to have the courage without my voice shaking to bring this up tonight, that I'm really disappointed how that press conference was handled. And I think it shows the lack of character, again, towards your teammates.
Good evening. I'm going to ask for an extension of the 4 minutes. May not go over, but just in case. Just a brief comment about agenda items 26 and 27. I understand it was a condition of the DOJ that the Connelly case must be settled prior to settling with them. All for putting this behind us and moving on. However, I still to this day fail to understand why you sued Ms. Connelly in the first place. In essence, suing ourselves. I'd like to move on to agenda item number 24. I'd first like to thank the couple gentlemen who spoke in detail, explaining the different intricacies of the liability assurance in layman's terms for everyone to be able to understand. It's given me an even better understanding of the catastrophe that a number of the trustees sitting on this board are leading us into. The facts concerning the higher deductibles and premiums and lack of coverage have been talked about already. So I would like to address the Tinley Park Code of Ethics that all board members took an oath to uphold. In part, 39.01 reads, perform their duties with integrity and impartiality and for the sole benefit of the citizens of the village. To this end, all such persons should avoid accepting or retaining any economic benefits or opportunities which could impair or present an actual threat to the exercise of independent judgment or interfere with serving the public interest. It is further the policy of this village that all appearances of impropriety shall be avoided. 39.02 in part reads, we strive at all times to improve the quality of life for the citizens of the village. We affirm the dignity and value of the service that we render. We dedicate ourselves to the highest ideals of honor and integrity. We believe we hold office for the benefit of the public in order to serve the public. We believe the personal gain, either immediate or in the future, secured by the misuse of one's position is totally unethical, and that our conduct in public affairs must always be above reproach. We believe that public service is a public trust, and the public interest is and must always remain our primary concern. And 39.06 in part reads, to avoid even an appearance of impropriety, any elected or appointed officials who has any business relationship that creates a financial interest on the part of such member, the domestic partner or spouse of such member, or an adult child with a person or entity with a matter pending before the village board. With that last bit in mind, I would hope that in the spirit of that ordinance, 39.06B, any trustee, out of an abundance of caution, would recuse himself in this vote for the insurance policy. A number of board members are in breach of their fiduciary duties to the residents of Tinley Park. The above violations are in direct conflict with the oath you swore to uphold. These violations are all actionable. Keep that in mind, please. There's a quote attributable to a relatively famous woman that reads, "Whenever one person stands up and says, 'Wait a minute, this is wrong,' it helps other people to do the same." I'm standing before you saying, this is wrong. And I'm asking you to stand up for the residents of Tinley Park by voting no to the Alliant Mesereau ICRMT contract. I've stepped to this podium many times in the past 2.5 years, and I have witnessed that something was wrong. I voiced my concerns, my opinions, my thoughts, and my ideas. I will continue to stand at this podium and question you on contracts, appointments, developments, or any village business that I feel is questionable or not in the best interests of the residents of Tinley Park. And I will not stand down.
No other comments? We'll move on to item 11. Ask the board for a motion to consider approval of the following consent agenda items.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk?
Item A, consider request from Together We Cope to conduct a Queen of Hearts raffle from September 1st, 2018 to August 31st, 2019, with the maximum value of the prize not to exceed $250,000. Winners will be drawn weekly at Bailey's Restaurant and Bar, 17731 Oak Park Avenue. Item B, consider adopting Resolution 2018-R-056, awarding a contract with B&B Holiday Decorating, LLC, Des Plaines, Illinois, in an amount of $48,267.62 for 2018 downtown Christmas decorating services. Item C, consider adopting Resolution 2018-R-057, awarding a contract with Artistic Holiday Designs of Broadview, Illinois, in an amount of $44,200 for the purchase of 72 custom trumpet-shaped light pole decorations to be placed in the core downtown area during the holiday season. Item D, consider a request for a block party permit on Saturday, September 29, 2018, on Bourmet Drive between 163rd Street and Nottingham Drive from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Item E, consider a request for a block party permit on Barron Court between 8519 and 8530 on Saturday, September 1st, 2018 from noon to 10 o'clock p.m. Item F, consider a request for a block party permit on 66th Avenue from 179th to 177th Streets from noon to 10 o'clock p.m. And item G, payment of outstanding bills in the amount of $6,075,668.31 as listed on the vendor board approval reports dated July 20th, July 27th, August 3rd, August 10th, and August 17, 2018.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Might be the first time that somebody came for the block party permit to sit in the audience. I would assume that's not the reason you're here, Mr. Desnoyers, but anyways, nice to see you. Does any board member care to remove any of these consent agenda items? Let the record reflect there is none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
And Trustee Curran.
Yes.
The motion will carry. Thank you. Item 12, Mr. Glatz.
All right, let's rip through the items. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2018-R-042, authorizing an amendment to a professional service agreement with GovTemp USA for provision of an interim community development director, planning manager.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thanks, Brian. This item was tabled, and Bill, at the village board meeting held on July 17, 2018. It's recommended that the village renew the professional services agreement with GovTemps that expired August 31st, 2018 to fill the position of interim community development director, providing for management and staffing coverage. The village has previously utilized the services of GovTemp USA and has been pleased with their services and the staffing candidates they have offered. GovTemps will be paid $95.62 per hour. However, the interim community development director, Paula, will be paid $68.30 per hour by GovTemp. The difference covers the employment costs incurred by GovTemp. The village recently hired Kimberly Clark as planning manager with the intention of having her eventually take on the role of community development director. This amendment runs through August 31st of 2019. However, when Kimberly Clark is promoted to community development director, Paula would then work only 32 hours per week in a planning manager role at an hourly rate of $75.60 to GovTemp and $54 being paid to Paula as we transition. Consider authorizing an amendment to an agreement with GovTemp for provision of an interim community development director, planning manager. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? If not, please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
I am a no for the fact that Ms. Clark, I believe, should be able to choose her own community development director at the time. Could it be Paula or not? Without GovTemps, perhaps? And that is where I stand on that. Thank you.
Thank you for your vote.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Double yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 13, Mr. Watson.
Thank you, everybody. 2 men in a truck. Here we go. I would like to make a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2018-0-048, granting variations for 2 men in a truck to allow the construction of a parking lot addition at 7420 and 7430 Devon Drive.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Cindy. The petitioner, Paul Brown of 2 Men in a Truck, is sitting in the front row, is seeking variations to construct a parking lot addition on properties in the ORI MU1 zoning district with the common addresses of 7420 and 7430 Devon Drive. His variations include a parking lot variation to allow parking in the front yard, resulting in a setback of 12.29 feet, and to allow a fence in the primary front yard. The fence is requested for security purposes. The proposed ordinance includes the condition that if the property is sold or under different ownership than the property located at 7420, the parking lot and all associated material shall be completely removed and replaced with grass. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on August 2nd, 2018, and voted unanimously 8-0 to recommend the variations in accordance with plans as listed in the listed reviewed plans. And findings of the fact in August 2nd, 2018 staff report. This ordinance is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Let the record reflect there is none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 14, Trustee Glatz.
Mr. Rickert. I would like to make a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2018-0-049, granting a variation to allow an accessory structure in front yard where it is only permitted within a rear yard located at 6811 Hickory Street, Banging Gavel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thanks, Cindy. You're slow, Mike.
Yeah.
The petitioner, Jim Rickert with Banging Gavel LLC, is seeking a variation for the construction of an accessory structure at 6811 Hickory Street. This will allow him for the construction of a 164 square feet detached accessory structure, which includes 2 restrooms and a server station, to be located in the front yard where this is prohibited per village code. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on August 2nd, 2018, and again voted unanimously 8-0 to recommend the variation in accordance with plans as listed in the listed reviewed plans and the findings of the fact in the August 2nd, 2018 staff report. This ordinance as well is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Let the record reflect there is none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Good work, Jim. Item 15, Mr. Glatz?
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2018-0-050, granting an amendment to ordinance 2001-0-023 to remove the font style and font color requirements for wall and ground signage found in the unified sign plan at Cornerstone Center located at the northeast corner of Harlem and 183rd Street.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thanks, John. The petitioner, Kevin Bingham, on behalf of Edwards Realty Company, seeks to amend the approved unified sign plan for Cornerstone Center located at the northeast corner of Harlem and 183rd Street to remove the specific font style Rockwell and font color copper requirements for tenant wall signs and ground sign panels. All other sign plan requirements would remain. The Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on August 9, 2018, and voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the requested variation in accordance with plans as listed in the list of reviewed plans in the August 9, 2018 staff report. This is eligible for adoption as well.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 16, Trustee Berg.
I'd like to consider adopting ordinance 2018-0-51, supporting a Class 7 real estate tax assessment application by Lake Kagon for commercial development located at 7400 Duvon Drive, otherwise Mr. G's, Tinley Park, Cook County, Illinois.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead.
This resolution provides support for the Cook County Class 7 incentive, which reduces the tax assessment ratio for the property at 7400 Duvon Drive from 25% to 10% for a 10-year period. The property is located in both the Duvon Industrial Park and the Tinley Park Mental Health Center TIF district, meeting the target development area incentive policy requirements. The Duvon Industrial Park is a designated area in Cook County where the county approval of this tax incentive is automatic if approved by the village. This project meets the goals and objectives for encouraging redevelopment in Tinley Park as set forth by the Economic and Commercial Commission and the Village Board of Trustees' previous meetings. This is eligible for adoption.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from the board? Let the record reflect those numbers. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 17, Trustee Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion for the board to consider adopting Resolution 2018-R-059, approving a contract with Cardinal Incorporated of Monier, Illinois for the 2018 Naturalized Stormwater Area Maintenance.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Upon completion of an RFP process and procuring maintenance services for naturalized stormwater areas at various locations throughout the village, the three proposals received August 8, 2018 were reviewed and scored. Cardinal was given the highest rating. The village has funds budgeted and available for this expenditure. The contract allows the Village of Tinley Park to renew the contract in one-year increments at the village's discretion. The contract was discussed at the August 14, 2018 Public Works Committee meeting and recommended for approval. Consider awarding a contract for naturalized stormwater area maintenance to Cardinal Incorporated of Monier at a cost not to exceed $189,500.
Thank you, Trustee Yonker. Any comments or questions from the board? Nope. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 18, Trustee Yonker.
I'd like to make a motion for the board to consider adopting Resolution 2018-R-060, approving a contract with Ted's Greenhouse Incorporated, Tinley Park, Illinois for the 2018 downtown planners.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Upon completion of the RFP process, the procuring planner design and maintenance services in the downtown area, the two proposals received on August 8, 2018 were received and scored. Ted's Greenhouse was given the highest rating. The village has funds budgeted available for this expenditure. The contract allows the Village of Tinley Park to renew the contract in one-year increments at the village's discretion. The contract was discussed at the Public Works meeting August 14, 2018 and recommended for approval. Consider awarding the contract 2018 downtown planners to Ted's Greenhouse, Tinley Park at a cost not to exceed $49,464.32.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board regarding item 18? Pardon me. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 19, Trustee Yonker.
I'd like to make a motion for the board to consider adopting Resolution 2018-R-061, approving a contract with Baxter and Woodman Incorporated, Mokina, for water main improvement designs.
Is there a second?
Second.
Village sought a qualified engineer to engineer 3 water main projects within the fiscal year 2019 budget for the purpose of the construction. Public Works evaluate and prioritize repairs based on the history of events and information to determine the priority of water mains that are in need of replacement. The village has funds budgeted and available for this expenditure. This contract was discussed August 14, 2018 at the Public Works Committee, recommended for approval. I'd like the board to consider awarding the contract to Baxter Woodman Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $128,000. Resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board?
Yeah, one question, Jake.
Go ahead.
Kevin, at the Public Works Committee, I asked they were going to be charging us travel time and tolls and everything else. Did you?
Right, yeah, we spoke with them, we took that out, and the new contract was dropped off today.
Okay, so they're well aware they only charge from when they're on site?
Correct.
Okay.
No other questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Alker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 20, Trustee Yonker.
I'd like to make a motion that the board to consider adopting Resolution 2018-R-062, approving a contract with Christopher Burke Engineering in Rosemont, Illinois for Post Lift 5 station redesign.
Second.
The village sought a qualified engineer to redesign Post 5, which is our main lift station that handles pumping of approximately 50% or more of the village's sanitary waste to MWRD treatment plants. This facility is approximately 40 years old and in need of rehabilitation. The village has funds budgeted and available for this expenditure. This contract was discussed at the August 14th Public Works Committee meeting and recommended for approval. I'd like the board to consider awarding the contract to Christopher Burke Engineering in an amount not to exceed $125,000.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board?
Same thing, Kevin?
Yeah, correct. We have that in all the engineering contracts.
Thank you.
No other questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Alker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 21, Trustee Yonker.
I'd like to make a motion for the board to consider adopting Resolution 2018-R-066, modifying the current criteria to obtain partial funding from the village to assist with residential drainage improvements.
Is there a second?
Second.
The current village criteria to obtain village funding assistance in addressing residential drainage issue was last updated in July 2015. It currently requires the completion of a complaint form describing the drainage flood area, problems that are caused, what has been done to alleviate the problems in the past, etc., as well as the confirmation that the drainage problems meet all 8 of the village's current criteria for funding assistance. The proposed modifications allow residents to obtain additional funding and to allow for assistance to single individual lot. However, all funded improvements must still be located in an easement or in a right-of-way, and the project coordination is responsibility of the resident. The funding assistance for these improvements will be based on availability of funds allocated in the village budget each year. This resolution was discussed at the Public Works Committee meeting held on August 14, 2018, and recommended for approval. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Is there any reference to what was just brought up this evening in public comment about the gentleman that came forward several months ago about flooding? Is this generally what this is about, I assume?
Yes, let's get more direction, more board direction on what we can spend money on and allocate money from the budget to handle smaller problems like this. That someone's stuck in the middle of a drainage problem, but it's not all the way down, so this is fun.
Will this information be conveyed to the person that came forward and complained about
Yes,
that?
we've been in.
You've been in contact with them?
Yes, we have.
All I needed to know. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the board?
I believe it was Scott French, Jake.
Nope. Please call the roll.
Trustee Alker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 22, Trustee Yonker.
I'd like to make a motion for the board to consider adopting Resolution 2018-R-063, authorizing the village to sign an agreement letter with Commonwealth Edison for overhead electrical facility relocation at North and South Streets in the downtown area.
Second.
Second.
This agreement will authorize ComEd to begin design engineering for the relocation of approximately 3,100 feet overhead electric lines near the North and South Street redevelopment projects. This engineering agreement is an essential part of the construction planning to better understand the costs associated with this infrastructure relocation. The overhead lines will be relocated and buried in order to accommodate the developments currently being discussed. As part of this agreement, the village is required to pay ComEd ComEd a $50,000 non-refundable deposit for each section of development, North and South Street, to initiate the design engineering. The total $100,000 payment will be credited towards the final construction cost at the time the village authorizes construction to begin. After engineering is complete, the electric relocation burial cost will be part of a separate construction contract. This agreement does not obligate the village to the burial expense and is limited to engineering only. This item was discussed at the Public Works Committee meeting held on August 14, 2018, and recommended for approval. The board to consider authorizing the village to sign agreement letters with ComEd for the overhead facility relocation at North and South Streets and respected areas for the downtown development projects. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any comments or questions to the board? The record reflectors none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 23, Trustee Panito.
Make a motion for the board to consider adoption of Resolution 2018-R-064, authorizing the renewal of the village health/dental insurance policy.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
This action would authorize the renewal of the village's health and dental insurance contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois for the 2018-2019 plan year, effective October 1, 2018. The proposed renewal reflects a rate action of down 6.8% for medical and down 10.5% for dental. In anticipation of such renewal, the village included an estimated 9% increase in the current budget for insurance renewal. As such, the renewal presented as favorable to the budget. This item was discussed at the July 24th, 2018 Administrative and Legal Committee meeting and was recommended for approval.
Thank you. This is up for adoption. Continue authorizing Blue Cross Blue Shield. Any comments or questions from the board? The record reflectors none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 24, Manager Niemeyer. Getting kind of used to
I'm
this,
just
huh?
getting used to this here. Thank you, Mayor. Consider adopting resolution number 2018-R65, authorizing the binding of liability insurance coverages from January 1st, 2019 to December 1st, 2019 with the Illinois County Risk Management Trust. Discussion, the village recently bid out its liability insurance.
December 31st?
Oh, that's right.
Time out for 1 second. You need a motion first of all. Is there a motion for this to continue?
So moved.
It's moved. Has it been seconded?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Did you have a question on the dates?
Yeah, it should be
Yeah, it's
December 31st, not
No.
December 1st.
No, it's December 1st. It's basically,
Their year's different, I
Yes.
think. So it's an 11-month.
the first year would essentially be 11 months, and then it would go to a December 1st to December 1st year.
Gotcha, okay.
So it's been properly moved. It was seconded. Who seconded it? I missed it.
That was Trustee Yonker.
Okay. All right. Dave, go ahead.
The village recently bid out its liability insurance and workers' compensation that has been with the Illinois Risk Management Association for a number of years. Mesero solicited 3 private insurance bids, and IRMA submitted a bid. At the village's August 14th, 2018 Committee of the Whole meeting, the village board recommended the Illinois County Risk Management Trust for insurance coverage from January 1st, 2019 to December 1st, 2019. The cost of the coverage is $739,763. This does not include Kreiber and Syme coverage, which we approved at a future board meeting. For 2019, crime coverage will be with Hanover Insurance Company in the amount of $14,707, and cybercrime coverage in the amount of $9,979 with Lloyd's of London, RPS. Resolution's eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Manager Niemeyer. Any comments or questions from the board?
I just had one, Jake.
Sure, go ahead.
It's obvious Alliant Mesro is a really, really good company. They're doing a great job with our health insurance. The only issue I have that I think we should discuss is 2014 with our $138,000 interest. we would have saved over 500,000. 2015, we received almost 34,000 in interest. Again, it's 485,000. 2016, we would have saved 459,000 if we compared the two policies. Other than that, I mean, they're a good company. It's the numbers that were the only issue I have, especially with the higher deductibles. It's hard to set a budget with the deductibles that high. I think we should have asked them to have their deductibles lower so we actually could compare something closer. Because with the higher deductibles, the premium is still a little bit higher.
I think I kind of asked about that at the last meeting. What would the price be for comparable deductibles? And you couldn't really give an exact, but obviously it would be lower. Right?
Well, there was somebody you had today. There was Trustee Kern did ask what the price would be if there was a $100,000 workers' comp deductible as compared to $300,000. So you have that number, which is $823,384. That's just workers' comp at $100,000. And again, that's combined with the other, the crime and the cyber.
And the other one stayed the same, Dave? That only includes an adjustment of workman's comp, correct?
That's the only quote we got. I know it was requested $50,000, and we got it to him Monday, but that's all we have right now, so.
I'd just like to say the Buckeye claim, the Department of Justice claim, the Amy Connelly claim, and the water meter claim have all been partially or not covered by IRMA to the tune of millions. I cannot see paying for my condo insurance and not getting anything at the end. These prices, the deductibles, everything that you have on here, you end up paying at the end of the deal. We've not had the coverage we need on these critical cases here. I don't know if anyone's aware of that. Also, the Buckeye claim, I believe IRMA did deny that and want us to build, is my understanding, they wanted us to go ahead and build the Buckeye project.
Any other comments, questions from the board?
Are you saying, Cindy, that they didn't cover the Buckeye project? Yeah,
Partially or not covering parts of these claims.
I believe the two trustees and mayor can testify that. I think, didn't you guys authorize to go outside of IRMA or no?
There was some claims covered and some that were not covered.
Sometimes, and insurance get tricky, sometimes the insurance company wants to settle even though it's not ultimately in the best interest of the village. The village's interests sometimes are to fight for certain reasons. The way insurance companies work, basically, even with like IRMA, it's more of a risk pool. And they obviously want to hold on to their money so that they can use it when they need it. And oftentimes, they'll be pushing towards a settlement, even though it's not necessarily what the village wants. In this case, we kind of have looked for other counsel to help make sure our interests were represented.
So you went out on your own?
What?
You went out on your own and hired Alistair's firm?
We did.
Okay.
I just want, Mayor, too, I just wanted for the record that this has been brought up by previous mayors and also previous administrations for the 3 years that I've been here. There's been talk about leaving IRMA, and and that's why we went out to bid on this, to look for a change, because I don't think this board has been happy with a lot of settlements that have occurred with IRMA.
Any other comments from the board? No? Call a roll, please.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
No.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
No.
Trustee Curran.
No.
Yes. Call the roll. I'm sorry.
Good one, Jake.
With President Vandenberg's aye vote, the motion carries 43.
Motion
Good
carries.
job. Shame on you.
Two more years.
Item 25, Attorney Connelly.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance number 2018-0-047, amending certain sections of Title 11, Chapter 129A, entitled Hotel Accommodations Tax, pertaining to the taxation upon the renting, leasing, or letting of any hotel accommodations in the village of Tinley Park? Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
This ordinance amends the Tinley Park Municipal Code to increase the hotel accommodations tax rate by 1% to a total of 7%. This rate change will become effective on January 1, 2019. The hotel tax rate was last changed in 2011. This 1% increase has been primarily earmarked to support the village's obligations under the management contract for the Tinley Park Convention Center. Village staff has performed a comprehensive review of hotel tax rates charged throughout the state of Illinois and finds that the resulting overall hotel tax rate, inclusive of hotel taxes assessed by Cook County and the state of Illinois, is near the statistical median of rates charged statewide. The local tax rate remains competitive in the marketplace, and particularly within the circle of communities with similar convention and exhibition facilities. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meetings on June 5th and July 17, 2018, and recommended for approval. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Counselor, any comments or questions from the board? For the record, reflect there's none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Elker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
I'm sorry. We're on,
We're on item 25.
yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 26, Attorney Connelly.
Yeah, is there a motion to adopt Resolution 2018-R-067, approving a settlement agreement between the United States of America and the Village of Tinley Park, case number 16 CV 10848 SLE, Northern District of Illinois?
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Go ahead.
Okay, I believe at this time, we're going to have council come up and briefly, is that the plan? Briefly
Yeah, I mean,
give
if
us
that's
a...
what the village attorney recommends.
Yeah, council, could you just give us a quick summary of this? Thank you.
Good evening. Would you like me to address both cases while I'm up here, or would you like me to come back and what's the easiest way?
If you feel that would be...
Yeah, but I think they go hand in hand.
They're tied together,
They go
so I
hand in
just
hand.
think it's probably, if that's okay with the board.
What's your name?
My name's Alistair McGrath. I'm from the law firm Kazaki, Weitzel McGrath. We've been handling litigation now for the better part of 2.5 years for this village, covering probably close to 4 to 5 complaints now, depending on how you look at it. It's been very litigious, to say the least. It started off with, as many of you know, litigation started by citizens of Tinley Park regarding an ordinance. It then went to a complaint filed by Buckeye, who was the developer that was trying to build the affordable housing complex. At that point in time, I believe we had Department of Justice then stepped in. Amy Connelly then filed a lawsuit, filed a complaint with HUD, which was evolving into a lawsuit. And so we got...
Can you talk a little louder?
Sure, why don't I just do it here? No problem, sorry. As everybody knows, we settled the Buckeye matter probably about 1.5 years ago. And we were left with the Department of Justice case and Amy Connelly's complaint. We've heard some comments here tonight, so I'll address them here because obviously I figure this is a good time. I guess there's been some concern regarding why was there a lawsuit filed against Ms. Connelly. I think one of the first things to remember is that Ms. Connelly filed a lawsuit against this villager. My apologies, a complaint, which evolves into a lawsuit in January of 17. I can go into some of the reasoning tonight. If you'd like more, I think it's in the best interest of the village, though, that we not go into everything strategy-wise until after settlement agreements are signed, if they are signed. But what I can tell you is there's value in a counter complaint against anybody, especially when everybody who is involved in the case. I know I've reported to these trustees over the course of the last 2.5 years some of the events that transpired during all this. And we're very, very confident that we were well grounded in fact and law with our lawsuit against Ms. Connelly. In fact, a motion to dismiss was brought by the district court, was denied, and was told we could continue. With regard to some of the strategy and other issues, I guess right now it's probably a good time to segue a little bit into the Department of Justice case. For a long time now, the Department of Justice has been litigating this to the 10th degree. They've been seeking consent decrees that could last up to 5 years. They're asking for the village to bring in affordable housing developers to build a development, for the village possibly to identify land for affordable housing, for the Tinley Park taxpayers to create a fund to actually fund that affordable housing. They were looking.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're already having a difficult time hearing. If we could please keep the silence down to a minimal level, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
There's discussions of Tinley Park creating a fund to create advertisements for affordable housing. This was things that this board decided was not in the best interest of the village, and why it was fought so feverishly on behalf of the village. We've constantly gone back to the Department of Justice over the course of this litigation and asked, would you reconsider? It wasn't, and I think the last time was as of March, and the answer was always they were looking still for a consent decree. It wasn't until I believe in May of this year when there was court mandated mediation between us and Ms. Connelly that the Department of Justice actually said they were interested in getting involved. And actually during that mediation they said for the first time, we're going to consider no consent decree. If you look at the terms that they have now offered this village, they're basically dealing with reporting, training, and creating a fair housing compliance officer, which would be a position that somebody else a current employee could hold. The costs that go along with it are minimal compared to the costs of going forward with litigation. The problem with the settlement, as many of us see, and I discussed last week with this board, is that the Department of Justice have decided now that whereas they're not going to require the village to enter into a consent decree for a possible settlement, they basically have said that Amy Connelly is their aggrieved party. So what I can tell you is with regard to the payment to Amy Connelly, the village dropping its lawsuit against Amy Connelly, there were benefits to the village by the fact that some of these items, specifically some of the taxpayer-funded items, were no longer part of what they were going to be requiring. So unfortunately, as sometimes settlements can be, usually no side's very happy. But what I said to this board is going forward, it's going to cost you well over $1 million still. If we don't settle within the next week, we're going to start probably 40 depositions in 4 different states, and that's a starting point. I would tell you that the terms that the Department of Justice have offered aren't that onerous, and they're a far cry from where we were not only 18 months ago, but really even 4 months ago. So with regard to the Department of Justice, I think it's in the village's best interest to move forward. Now, as we said earlier, the Department of Justice has stated that they've tied the Amy Connelly settlement to their settlement. Basically, they said, if we're not going to require these terms from you with regard to your village, this is the aggrieved party we want you to take care of. So that's where we're at with this litigation. If this board does decide to vote and approve 2 settlements, we would then take those back to the Department of Justice and Ms. Connelly. They would still have to sign off on the settlement agreements. As of now, they have stated that that is their intention, but obviously until agreements are signed, there's no settlement. So this tonight would be just for the village to take its step towards a settlement if it so chooses.
Thank you.
Councilor.
Thanks.
Does any board member have any questions for the councilor before he sits down? Thank you very much. Counselor Connelly?
Oh, just one question. Could you explain just a little bit about insurance contribution and how that works?
In this particular case?
It's in the second item, Mike, so
In item 27, we could discuss that in 27. Item 27.
Okay.
So I'll finish the discussion and move from there.
Would you like me to stick around, or?
I don't believe there's any specific questions that the board has for you, but no, you don't have to sit around.
Okay,
That's another hour or two.
I'd rather, on that note, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, returning to item 26, this settlement agreement concludes a lawsuit brought by the United States of America against the village, alleging violations of the Fair Housing Act and naming Amy Connelly as an aggrieved party. This is a settlement agreement, not a consent decree. Consent decrees are the predominant outcome in fair housing actions brought by the United States government and place court oversight on municipalities during the term of the decree. There will be no court oversight of the village from this settlement agreement. Under the terms of the settlement, certain village employees and officials will undergo fair housing training and report compliance with the agreement for a period of 3 years. The village will also pay a sum of $50,000 to the United States. Finally, the agreement with the United States is contingent upon the village approving the settlement agreement with Amy Connelly. The village admits no liability or wrongdoing in this agreement. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Counselor Connelly. There's no questions.
I'd like to make a comment, if that's okay.
Yeah, this would be your time.
I'd like to fight this case. I feel the village has a strong case. I'm not happy. I kind of find it distasteful that as a condition of this settlement, we're being required to settle with a person who's alleged to have played a major role in this whole mess. Last thing I want to do is reward somebody that's done that. I also want to know who, if anyone else, played any part in this. But we have to do what's best for the village. There's no guarantees that we're going to get anything that we want going forward. This settlement decree, or this agreement, is as low as it gets. It's a slap on the wrist. It's not a consent decree. It doesn't make us do anything except for change somebody's job title and amend the fair housing policy that we already have. It's not an admission of any village wrongdoing. It's not an admission that we couldn't win if we didn't keep fighting. It's not saying that those involved shouldn't be held accountable. However, the costs of fighting this far, far, far outweigh any potential benefit we might get if we take it all the way to the end. This is something we as a village need to get behind us. As distasteful as I find it, as unhappy that I am that we can't take it all the way to the end, it's something that we need to do as a village. This is the best way to get it behind us. That's why I'm voting to accept this settlement.
Thank you, Trustee. Nothing else from the board. Beginning of the meeting, we just decided that items 26 and 27 will be open for anybody that'd like to comment following the presentation from our counselor. So the floor is yours if you have a comment that you already haven't made. There's none. I would ask for a roll call, please. No, sir. We've already had public comment. This is specifically regarding items 26 and 27. And Trustee Glatz was the one that made the motion at the beginning of the meeting, and he specified only for these two items that we'd have a public comment. So, sir, does your comment in the back regard to item 26?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Would you care to step forward and use the podium, please?
Yes, in regards to this lawsuit brought against the village by the Department of Justice, just have a point of clarification. One of the things required under this is that mentions here the village employees and officials will undergo fair housing training. When it says officials, does that mean any elected officials would have to undergo fair housing training?
Yes.
All right, and for this fair housing training, like, how long would it be?
I think we're still working with the DOJ on that, or the attorneys are. I believe it's probably like a day seminar, half a day seminar, something like that. There are people that come in and we'll train that. It'll be for elected officials, some appointed officials, at the planning commission, ZBA, folks that would tend to have things come their way that would have to deal with housing, essentially. So anyone that comes into that sphere, will have to be trained.
All right. In terms of that, like in terms of this lawsuit and such, this has been going on for a number of years and such, and we're probably close to at near closure. If we were to rework this agreement, I think that the fair housing training requirement, that should be, maybe we should fight that, at least for elected officials, because I don't think any elected officials should have to undergo this fair housing training for the settlement here. The fair housing training requirement, it's a non-financial part of this. It's just a minor part, but I think that this is something that maybe the village could go back to Department of Justice and ask that they modify this.
From my understanding, that portion of the training was absolutely non-negotiable from the Department of Justice, from my understanding.
Well, we appreciate your opinion.
All right. And in terms of that, I looked at the original complaint filed by the Federal Department of Justice a number of years ago, and it's just it made a lot of assertions and such, but I didn't see a whole lot of facts behind the assertions made by the Justice Department. And the thing is, I think the village fought as hard as it could in this, just the agreement that we have, we're stuck with that. But probably this is probably what we're stuck with. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
There's no other comments, and ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion will carry. Item 27, councilor comment.
Sure. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 2018-068, approving a settlement agreement between Amy Connelly and the Village of Tinley Park, 17-CV-3271, Northern District of Illinois?
So moved.
Moved, and has it been
Second.
seconded?
Yes.
Yes, it has.
Okay. This settlement and release agreement concludes a lawsuit brought by Amy Connelly against the Village of Tinley Park and the Village's lawsuit against Amy Connelly. As a condition to the settlement of the United States of America, this release and settlement agreement must be approved by the village. The agreement provides Amy Connelly with a sum of $360,000. Of that amount, $275,000 will be paid by the village's insurance carrier, and $85,000 will be paid by the village out of the IRMA Excess Reserve Fund. The village admits no liability or wrongdoing in this agreement. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Councilor Connelly. Any comments or questions from the board regarding item 27?
This took place before we took office. Who decided to sue Mrs. Connelly? The counter sue, I guess.
Is it previous?
Is that
About that, or?
Is that a direct question? I guess.
village board?
Yeah.
It was just the village board did.
Based
Other
on
questions?
the advice of the attorney.
Again, for item 27, as requested in the meeting and moved and seconded, is there any comments regarding item 27?
Let's be clear, though, just because we go ahead with the settlement, Trustee Panito, doesn't mean that we can't still assign blame and investigate blame. I mean, you're trying to make it sound like, well, once it's done, it's all done, and...
Oh, no,
but,
I'm not saying that at all. I'd be careful about the way that I say certain things, because...
It sure seemed that way. It seemed like, you're just trying to sweep everything under the rug now.
No, I think you're completely misunderstanding. I'm exactly in the position that you're in. I like to blame the people who should be blamed. I'd like to hold the people who are accountable. However, you're going to fight this suit. From what I've been told, it's going to cost $1.5 million just in our legal fees. We're paying Amy's legal fees. We're paying people's legal fees, probably more legal fees to come. And what you're going to get is you save $50,000 plus $85,000, not to mention the diversion of time, energy, resources, and the black eye to the village's reputation going forward. You can blame whoever you want. You can try to hold accountable whoever you want. But when you say things about people, and this is the huge problem that I had with the Department of Justice case, is you should have facts. You should have some record, some email, some note, some recording of a conversation, something other than we think because there was something that somebody said on the internet. That's not the basis of a lawsuit.
Okay, well, Trustee Panito, you're not a Johnny-come-lately. You were a member of the previous board. So you have the opportunity here. I mean, with the transition, you were here for the whole thing. You were ready to put a lot of blame on Amy Connelly, so you must have researched it enough then to share your estimates of blame amongst the previous board then too. Blame that maybe you have. Perhaps blame that other former board members had with the previous administration. So please, use the rest of my minute and a half to please give us your estimates on the lessons learned.
I'm not going to.
Well,
But I do
why
think
not?
we've learned a lesson.
Why not?
We've learned lessons from this, which is record everything. If there were recordings of some of those minutes from the...
But much was recorded. We have the emails. Please expound. Don't stop with the blame. People we need to know that you guys are capable of learning lessons. It's very important.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
No.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 28, receive comments from the board.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd just like to point out to whomever, be it someone at home or someone in the audience, on this thinly veiled threat that was sent to me here at the village. I received this yesterday about 8:15 at night, and I don't succumb to threats. You can find that out talking to my 6 brothers. I took a lot of lumps because I wouldn't take their threats. Okay? And apparently the person is not one of convictions or what they believe in or a stand-up person because they did it anonymously. Easy to threaten somebody anonymously. I don't take threats nicely. If you're going to talk to me, you got a problem, let me know who you are so we can discuss it, not just send a letter anonymously. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Brick. Any other board members who care to comment? I've already mentioned about Charles Furicelli. Just want to go ahead and publicly welcome Chief Matthew Walsh. I also would like to take this opportunity to wish a belated birthday to our assistant village manager. I think it was this past Saturday. Is that correct? So happy belated.
Happy birthday.
And also hats off to the police department for National Night Out. My apologies for not being present. I was on family vacation, but I understand it was a great success, even though the weather was semi-uncooperative. So that's all I have. Any other board members? No. Item 29, this time I'd ask for motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss, as noted earlier, 2 items: the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired, and B, the setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll be in executive session and nothing will be following. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.